Thank you for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show. I am Nikki Maduro. She is Kim McAllister. Please hit that subscribe button if you love to see our show right here on YouTube, and the thumbs up as well. I'm in my tank top. My fan is going. You can probably hear it. It's a bit toasty around the Bay Area. We have smoke in the air and high temps. It's summer in California, Kim McAllister.
Yeah, it is. Fire season. There's fires all over the place.
It's so hazy. And obviously, like we've mentioned earlier, our thoughts and prayers go out to the firefighters. And it's just, I hate to say it's the new normal and like moving on, but this is, packing a go bag, being evacuated, those sorts of things, wine country, grapevine, these sorts of things is a reality. This is what we deal with every single summer most of the time. And so, hopefully they can get it under control and this freaking wind can die down. Also, happy Juneteenth. It is Juneteenth today. And so it's interesting. I was reading this article, Kim, about Juneteenth and, how should you celebrate it, especially if you're not Black, right? I mean, is it supposed to be festive? Is it supposed to be somber and reflective? And obviously, I think most of the articles that I've read is in whatever way you want to celebrate it. And even if you're not Black, it's part of our American history. And if you're confused about what Juneteenth is, it marks the day in 1865 when enslaved people in Texas finally found out they were free and weren't slaves anymore. It was like 2 years after Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation.
Ridiculous.
So, yeah.
My husband gets it off as a holiday. His company observes this holiday.
Oh, yeah.
And so
absolutely.
he gets the holiday off. It's interesting because until the holiday started to be recognized, I had no idea what Juneteenth even was.
No, it was only in recent years that a lot of people learned about it. And you're right. A lot of people have it off. You have to kind of request it. Banks are closed. My husband got paid a day early. In San Francisco, I had to get my time card in a day early because of all of that. So it's definitely becoming more of that traditional holiday, and it's about damn time. In any way, some people say support your local Black businesses if you want to, reflect on the holiday, watch movies, whatever you want to do. But on that note, I just finally, and I want to give a shout out to our old colleague Kim, because she had posted it on her social media page, and I finally got around to watching it. Ava DuVernay's Origin. It's a movie. I think I watched it. I know I watched it on Apple Plus. You can find it on Prime and other places, I think, if you rent it or whatever. And it's about this author by the name of Isabel Wilkerson and her book called Caste: The Origins of Our Discontents. And it starts with the Trayvon Martin shooting, murder. And it delves into, I don't want to give the whole thing away because it's very complicated. There's tragedy and everything. But it's an interesting take, especially here in America, when we're so quick to call things racist or that's racism. And this author kind of breaks it down and says, no, it's not racism. It's caste, like the caste system that we usually see in places like India and whatever, and how it does have origins here in the United States, in Germany. And she kind of ties it all together in that book that she wrote that then became the movie Origin. So I highly recommend it. It was really good. It's
really
sad.
Interesting.
It's
I
very
would
sad.
Say that there are people. I remember Oprah one time when she had told the story that she was trying to get into a store in Chicago.
Okay.
And they locked the doors and didn't realize it was Oprah because there's this Black lady outside.
Right.
And so in a caste system, if you have a higher profile job or you're somehow in a higher class of people, then it shouldn't matter what color you are, right?
Right.
But in America, it seems like whether you're a rich person that's of color or a poor person that's of color, you still get mistreated. So I don't necessarily know that it's always caste. I think there's a lot of racial prejudice around too.
Well, I don't think she's saying there is no racial prejudice, just that we kind of group all things as racist or racism. And I don't know. I don't think she used this word, but for lack of a better word for me, lazy. It's kind of like, it's like, well, wait,
Sure.
what is actually happening here? And she used
Mm-hmm.
the Trayvon Martin case, and she says, why is a Hispanic man, defending a white neighborhood? Like, what is going on here against a black kid? It was
Mm-hmm.
just, it didn't seem to have to do with color, all these sorts of things. And so, very interesting. I urge you to
Yeah.
watch it. It's
Okay.
an interesting case, and she had a hard time convincing other people as well that it wasn't racism, that it was caste, and trying. I mean, if you don't know who the Dalits are in India, you will be horrified about the caste system there and who those people are. And I'm not going to give it away because it will lose its impact. But Dalit, the Dalits, it is so tragic. And so I just urge everyone to watch it, especially, when we're just learning about our own history and kind of
Mm-hmm.
scratching deeper beneath just that surface level of things,
Right.
especially on Juneteenth. It's a good time to do something like that. And if you're looking for something to watch anytime, just
What is
check
it?
out Origin.
Netflix or where is it?
It's I don't think it's on Netflix. I saw it on Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe you can rent it on like Prime, but
Okay.
it's been out since 2023. So, look around. I'm sure it's on something. You might have to pay a couple bucks if it's not on your streaming service. I got it for
Sure.
free. I believe on Apple TV is what I watched it on. I was stoked. I was kind of
Mm-hmm.
waiting for it to be free. So there you go. That's what you should do. Now speaking of, again, people of color,
Yeah.
just our history in this country, how our history and how our country was founded. President Biden, of course, announced a program that I know in on one hand, it seems rational. Okay. It
Totally
has to
rational.
do
Yeah.
with asylum seekers, DACA, undocumented immigrants. And on the other hand, I could also already hear the people yelling and screaming about this is just going to make the problem worse.
Right.
I do want to play a little bit of President Biden making the announcement this week. Here we go.
A few days ago, we marked the 12th anniversary of taking care of dreamers that President Obama and I put in place. There are a few of these immigration areas that have had most positive area impact and gotten more support from the American people across the board. These young people known as dreamers, Hispanics, South Asians, and more, who came to America as children, only know America as their home, have been able to live and learn out of the shadows. So many of them have graduated from high school and college and are starting families on their own, building successful careers, serving our nation in uniform, and so much more. We're much better and stronger nation because of dreamers like Javier, who just introduced me. So today I'm announcing new measures to clarify and speed up work visas to help people, including dreamers, who have graduated from U.S. colleges and universities, landed jobs in high demand, high skilled professions that we need to have grow to see our economy grow. It's the right thing to do.
Okay, so I want to stop it a little bit right there, and then I'll play it because he does make another announcement. It's kind of a two-part announcement. Now, this makes sense to me. I never understood, Kim, why people were so against dreamers. We have invested in these children. We have educated these children. These children had no say in coming to this country. They were babies in many cases, infants. Just because their parents were undocumented and made that decision doesn't mean that they aren't just as much an American as anybody else. And it would be asinine to put all of those resources, all of that knowledge, all of that education into human beings and be like, bye. It doesn't make
But
sense to me.
before that, dreamers who we invested in as far as the public education system couldn't get into universities.
Right.
Right? Couldn't get loans to go to universities, all of these things. So I don't know if maybe people thought, oh, well, they're taking up spots for real Americans, if that's why, or if it was a racism thing, or if people are just angry. People just seem angry at others.
Yeah, I mean, it is that othering, and I'll give you that. I do believe that there is a large amount of, and it's also, it's not just othering. It's I should have that. It's this idea that what somebody else has should be mine, and that's not always the case. All right, I'm going to play a little bit more of President Biden's announcement.
I want those who've been educated at U.S. college and universities to put their skills and knowledge to work for here in America. I want to keep building the strongest economy in the world with the best workforce in the world. We've already created 15 million new jobs, a record. We're seeing record economic growth, a record of small business growth. And I doubt why the action we're taking today matters. If you wonder about that, just ask business leaders, ask labor leaders, ask economists, ask elected officials. They know it's good for American business. They know it's good for the American economy. They know it's good for America, period. This step builds on other actions we've taken to support dreamers, from defending dreamers in the courts and expanding access to health care for millions of Americans under the Affordable Care Act, including for dreamers. The second action I'm announcing today is about keeping families together. My dad used to have an expression. He said, Joey, family is about the beginning, middle, and the end, about keeping couples together who are married, where one spouse is a U.S. citizen, the other is undocumented. They've been living in the United States for at least 10 years. These couples have been raising families, sending their kids to church and school, paying taxes, contributing to our country for 10 years or more. Matter of fact, the average time they've spent here is 23 years, people we're affecting today. But living in the United States all this time with this fear and uncertainty. We can fix that. And that's what I'm going to do today. Fix it.
All right, so I'll stop sharing that right now. So what do you think about that? Okay, so a couple, one's undocumented, they've lived here more than 10 years, and so they can start the process. They don't here's the important part. They don't have to leave and then apply and then come back. They can stay because obviously if you leave, there's a chance you may never be able to come back.
Not ever having gone through the immigration process in America, but only watching it from the movie perspective. I thought if an American citizen married someone from another country, that was like an automatic path to citizenship, green card. You didn't have to leave. But apparently that's not the case. So these people who have been together, building families and building lives, have been frightened and scared that they were going to have to check out.
Yeah.
And I think these are people that are invested in America and invested in making their lives here and making it better for their kids and everything else. I don't have a problem with that at all. As a matter of fact, we talk about all the things that we wish someone would do something. We know that the immigration system in America is broken, right? In all these different ways, kind of like a big tangle of wires. And we know something needs to be done. And most people agree on that, regardless of what you think needs to be done. We all agree that we need to take steps to fix it. And I'm grateful to see him go, okay, I'm going to untangle this wire. Been here for longer than 10 years and you're a spouse of a U.S. citizen, you get to stay.
Yeah.
Pull out another wire. The dreamers, guess what? Path to citizenship. We got you, right? We want your college education to go to work for America. We want you to be here. Excellent. There's another wire out. And I feel like he's doing something. And I like what he's doing so far. Now, I'm in favor of these two moves. I have no problem with them. Maybe if I was Trumper, I'd be mad that, more people of color get to be in the United States. Whatever they think. But I'm glad that the wires are being untangled one by one and that we get it all straightened out.
Well, and I think the criticism also is the fact that it's an election year, right? He's doing this right before the election. Everyone's like, you're trying to have your cake. That's what I heard. You're trying to have your cake and eat it too. You're trying to clamp down on the border while at the same time, the people that are already here, you're trying to appeal to. You're trying to kind of pad the votes, as they would say. But the truth of the matter is, this whole Trumpian idea of rounding up all the illegals to get them out of the country is not a feasible plan. It's so asinine to think that is the way, a humane way of doing it. Now, I understand the argument. You are here illegally. You are not allowed to be in this country. But if you've been here 10 years, you've been paying taxes. You have, right? You've been paying taxes. You've been working. You haven't been getting any sort of return probably on that investment, besides obviously living in the United States, which is huge for them. But they give back. It's this cycle that we totally take advantage of. And I just don't see what the problem is of just cementing with citizenship these people in our country, we know who they are now. We identify them. They have an identification. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this whole, we don't know who's in our country. Okay, well, let's figure it out. Let's
Right.
get these people from out behind the shadows. I can see also the fear of, well, if there's somebody else in the White House, what's the decision going to be made there?
Sure.
It's so complicated, but I do think that President Biden is making the right move. I also do think that this is a good political move. You can't say it's
Sure.
not. Of course it is.
It isn't. But the question I ask isn't about whether it's a political move or not. Was it a problem that needed to be fixed?
Yes, I would say that it is.
Done. That's
Yeah.
all I care about.
There you go.
Is there somebody that I voted for or didn't vote for, but someone that we're paying to be the president
Right.
that needed to do something about a certain problem that needed to be repaired in America? Yes. Did they fix the problem? Yes. Move on to the next problem, because we got a lot of them. Mhm.
Well, and I love that you said it like that, Kim, because that is the problem with the political discourse in this country, is that we argue so much about tiny, tiny things
Yeah.
that we're not getting anything done. We have huge problems in this country that we need to have solved, and we just seem to argue about, language and all these sorts of things. And it's like, look, roads are crumbling. People need to be educated. We need to protect our country. And you guys are just not doing the job. And so I do applaud President Biden for
Yeah.
saying, hey, look at my resume. This is what I'm getting done. This is what the American people have asked for. And let's do it, And so
Yeah.
I applaud him. And I know there's going to be a lot of criticism on the right, but screw him. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
I have one for you.
Oh, go, please.
And this is down in your neck of the woods. All right.
Okay.
Now we have a new company that is the most valuable in the United States, and it is Nvidia. It was inching that way, inching that
Yes,
way,
it
inching that
has
way.
been.
Their stock has been like on the upswing, right?
Yeah, it has
Well,
been.
now, as of I think yesterday, Nvidia becomes the most valuable company on Wall Street.
Wow.
Yeah. So they unseated Microsoft, I think. And was Apple used to have it again? Yeah.
I'm
It
sure.
grabbed the top spot on Wall Street from Microsoft, which has been trading the crown back and forth with Apple after they wrested it from past titans like ExxonMobil and
Wow.
Philip Morris. So now Nvidia is at the top of the heap. It is
And
the
this
most
all has to do
valuable
with
US
AI,
company.
I'm assuming,
Oh
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw this
Yeah.
this quote online, and it's like, I don't want AI to do my writing and
saw that too.
my art so that I have more time for laundry. Like, I want
Right.
my AI to do my laundry so I have
Yes.
more time for art. So if that robot that you just showed up there
Yeah.
is going to come in my house and do my chores for me, done. But if it's going to take my job away from me, how about no? Like, can we not do that?
So Nvidia makes the chips that are apparently used in AI,
Okay.
right? So it's they're a chip maker, I believe. Are they not? Yeah. Nvidia's chips are helping to develop AI. So that's what it is. And their revenue is tripling about every quarter. And its
Wow.
profit is breathtaking. Its stock is up 174% this year. And alone, Nvidia was responsible for nearly a third of the S&P 500's entire gain for the year through May.
Damn.
So it's wild. But I agree with that statement where when you think about AI and you talk about AI,
Yeah.
you want AI to do the menial tasks. You
Yes.
want the robots to do your laundry and fold it and do the dishes and do the stuff, clean the toilets, the stuff nobody wants to do, right? While you get to write and be creative and use your brain and
Yes.
think. Yeah.
Technology was supposed to make our lives easier. And
Right.
and instead what we've done is we've had this technology so our bosses can look at us and say, well, since that's doing that, let me put more work on your desk. It's like, wait a minute. Can we do it the other way, the way we dreamed about? Like, can we go utopia, not dystopian, please? Can we
Right.
try that? Anyways. But yeah, congratulations to NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Obviously there's going to be a lot of competition in the AI field, and who knows what's going to come. But yeah, that's a lot of money in AI. We got to keep a close eye on it. I know I was reading something, I think it was last week, about them really trying to watch companies like NVIDIA that have such a large share of the AI space
Right.
and kind of put some checks and balances on it. And I was interviewing this guy when I was in San Francisco. And I was like, well, do you think that the average consumer cares about, the checks and balances on a company like Nvidia and the AI? And he's like, no, but like, think about something like Google and how much of a stronghold they have on search. Back in the day, it didn't really matter. We didn't really do much. Now we understand how deep that goes into our lives and how much data that is. And so we're trying to kind of mimic that now and not let it get so out of control with one company without having any sort of shackles on it to rein it in, which I do think is smart, but technology always moves faster than safeguards.
Yep.
And so we're going to have a lot of people willing to pump the brakes on something like that at the cost of money, revenue. I mean, you're talking tons of money. You were just talking about, I don't know a lot of people that are going to give up that much money just to kind of slow things down to make sure we do it right. But fingers crossed.
Do you use, I'm sure we all use AI in ways that we don't even realize.
Oh, absolutely. Chatbots, things like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Or, I mean, I haven't necessarily, I guess a chatbot for like if you want help with something.
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's AI running software at I don't know if it's at the gas station pump or like where in the world that you don't even realize AI is quietly seeping into your life. You know how I use it when we make the little thumbnails for the show, the picture.
Okay.
And we use a program called Canva often.
Oh, yeah. I use Canva. Yeah.
And Canva has this little AI section where if I want to take a background out, or if I want to extend a background,
right,
or if I don't alter pictures to make a different point, but maybe just aesthetically.
Right.
But if I wanted to, like if I had a picture of you and I wanted you to have a rose in your hand, I could put that in. But that's all AI. There's a little AI section, and I've been kind of
so they're basically doing the Photoshop for you, is what you're saying.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. It's they're taking a task that you either don't want to do or don't know how to do and doing it for you. But I will challenge you on that example. Let's just say that was your job. Like you would normally hire somebody to do something like that for you. That's the way it's kind of not dangerous, but for that person, it's like, well, I liked making, not necessarily thumbnails, but, I liked to make these designs. And now there's an AI that's going to, scrape the internet for the images that go along with this, kind of headline. And now all of a sudden, you don't need my work as much, or I need to do something else to kind of sell myself.
I still have to do the work in this case. Right. It just makes it a lot easier for me. Like I can do it like that instead of spending 3 hours, retouching a photograph.
Exactly.
I don't know. I feel like in this case, it makes the job easier. It doesn't just do the whole job for me, but maybe that's next. It also allows me not to have to be an expert. Yeah. So anyone could do it.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And I would say, something like maybe even Grammarly. If you've ever used Grammarly, it like kind of, you put your, let's say, essay in, and then you like make sure that all the T's and dots in. It's not perfect, people. You have to actually check it. But, those sorts of things, there's a program in there that can help you out. So yes, I think that there's definite benefits to it. Photo manipulations, helping, with videos and things like that. But again, for every time it does it for you, there used to be someone that used to do that job. Yep. And so we got to keep that in mind. All right. We're going to end on kind of a down up note. This is our idiot of the day.
Oh, Justin.
I don't know how rich you have to be to know that you shouldn't drive under the influence. Justin Timberlake, of course. Has issued an apology. I'm sure he is crying a river, as they say, because he was arrested on a DUI early Tuesday morning. Apparently, he ran a stop sign and was speeding. The cops, Kim, were waiting for him, though. So apparently he was in this like Hampton's restaurant. He comes out. He ran a stop sign and was swerving. I mean, and look, he had like glassy eyes. He did not do the breathalyzer, but I'm telling you, the latest rumors, and this is allegedly, and I don't think that this is actually true, but there was one kind of, I think it's called Pop Rocks, kind of celebrity trash, and they were saying that what was found in his system was not just alcohol, but Molly, which is like ecstasy, poppers, which I only thought poppers existed in like the 1970s or something. Like I don't even know exactly what a popper is. All I know is from the movies, like it pops it under your nose. I thought it was like an ammonia thing. I don't know what it is, but poppers.
I've not heard of that, but okay.
Cocaine, But then this one is the one that I'm like, you guys shouldn't really put this out there. Truvada. Truvada is like an HIV prep medication to keep it low in your system.
Okay.
And I'm like, dude, you can't accuse a guy of having a disease like that. I think he was just drunk.
Where did all the cocktail of toxicology report come from?
Well, celebrity trash. I think that he was drunk, but apparently no. Other places like Page, they're all the rags, of course. But Page 6,
I don't know
New
if
York
I believe
Post,
any of that
no,
stuff.
but he was drunk, and they're saying he has had a problem with alcohol for a long time.
He had just posted this message about Happy Father's Day and thanks to, his two sons and this big thing. He's got a 9-year-old and I think a 3-year-old. And so he had this big thing about how they inspire him to be a better person. And then that night or the night after pulled over for drunk driving. So I don't know.
You want to hear stuff?
I like him.
I do like him. But this isn't funny, but it's kind of funny. Okay. The cop that pulled him over was so young. He didn't know who Justin Timberlake was.
He's a current artist.
Yeah, but not really.
Got that sunshine in my pocket. No.
Yeah, but apparently the cop didn't know who he was, and Justin had said under his breath, he didn't recognize his name. He didn't know who he was. I'm reading this off of Page 6. And that Justin said under his breath, "This is going to ruin the tour." And the cop replied, "What tour?" And he said, "The world tour." So then the cop was like, but it just goes to
and the
show,
cop thinks he's really drunk. Like, what world tour are you talking about?
But it's like, it does. I think I could pick Justin Timberlake out. I know I am of that generation, and he is still a current artist, but I don't think he's drawn the numbers necessarily that he was before. But it's Justin freaking Timberlake here, people. Like, come on.
I know.
I'm just disappointed because, again, you are so rich. You don't need to drive. You should always have a driver. I want to be so rich that I have someone, the minute I step out of a restaurant, they're taking me somewhere. And I don't even notice. Well, it's like as if I'm driving.
Especially if you know what you're taking.
Yeah,
right?
You're drunk.
Say all those things were true.
Or
say you knew you were going to have even one drink. Yeah. Don't tell me where's all the money that he has that he can't hire an Uber.
Exactly. He said that he had one cocktail at dinner. This picture, I know what drunk looks like.
Did you see drunk? Did you see the video? I think I sent you the video.
It doesn't seem like it's that bad.
Apparently, he ran a stop sign.
Yeah,
he was swerving all over the road.
I watched the video. I'm like, okay, I saw it drive, but I don't know. Maybe from a different angle it looked. Didn't hit anything. There was no one else on the road. It looked like in the video.
It was a little wiggly. Yeah,
it was a little wiggly. Hey, Justin, don't be a dumbass. You know what I mean? Come on, don't be a dumbass and get yourself a driver.
Has he ever had a DUI before?
Ooh, good question. I don't know if he's had a DUI before. I'm trying to look at the New York Post article. But he's had many articles about his drinking. So he's had in his past. I don't know if he's had a DWI, so I don't want to say for sure. But I know that there's been many articles over the years of his partying and drug use. Like, he likes to party, and it's that lifestyle, Kim, like music, party, clubs. Yeah. I wouldn't put it past him. But again, once you hit a certain age, man, you can't even bounce back the way you used to. I can't even drink the way I would. Jesus, Lord Almighty.
Say, even once you have kids. Like, you have kids. Knock it off, dude.
Like,
knock it off.
Get it together. Definitely don't drink and drive. Come on. All right, you guys, click the thumbs up button to not drink and drive, and of course for our show as well. Make sure you are subscribed, and please click the bell button, the little bell. It lets you know when we have a new show up. The Super Chat is also live. You can donate to the show that way. And then we love Patreon and PayPal. So if you want to be an official Madorable, then you donate to our Patreon or our PayPal. The Patreon link can be found at thenikkimadoroshow.com, thenikkimadoroshow.com. And if you go to paypal.com, you hit the send button and you put in the email address, thenikkimadoroshow@gmail.com. And we appreciate every single dollar we get. If we get $10 a month from each and every one of you, it helps us out so very much. And then, of course, get a delicious way to support the show is Auntie Tabby's Island Flavors. Hibiscus hot sauce, pineapple hot sauce, and a guava barbecue sauce. Delicious. And if you go to auntietabbys.com, use the coupon code NICKKIM, NIKKIM, KIM. You get 10% off each and every order. It helps the show. A portion goes to our show, and a portion goes to kids in Jamaica. There's a skateboarding program, and so Tabby is from Jamaica, so she definitely puts her money where her mouth is and helps give back to her community. So we appreciate each and every one of you. Tomorrow, we are going to be talking about smartphones. Governor Newsom wants to restrict smartphone access. Who should it be up to? Should it be up to the state, to the school, or to the parents? You guys let me know tomorrow and in the comments. All right, you guys, until then, bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. Miss Brown, like a beautiful blossom. You're all so the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.